Module 2, Scientific Inquiry and the Scientific Method. Wrong science. One of the best ways to understand what science is to look at wrong science. And one of the best ways to do that is to perform a few hands-on experiments. Do experiment 2.1 first. Module 2, Scientific Inquiry and the Scientific Method. Experiment 2.1, How weight affects the speed at which objects fall. In this experiment, we're going to prove that heavier objects fall faster than lighter ones. And so I'm going to be dropping a couple of sets of objects. To start with, I have a book and I have a sheet of cardboard. They're about the same size in their surface area on the top. So I'm going to drop them and we're going to see which one falls faster. So pay attention. I'm going to count down so you're going to be able to see. So ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you see that the book fell before the cardboard did. Okay, now I'm going to do another drop where I have cardboard and some heavy paper. Again, they're about the same size, and so I'm going to drop them at the same time, and we're going to see which one lands first. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, and so the cardboard fell or landed before the heavy paper did. And finally, I'm going to do one final drop where I have the heavy paper and then regular light paper. Again, they're about the same size, and I'm going to drop them at the same time. And let's see which one lands first. 1, 2, 3. And the heavier paper landed before the lighter one. Now, you can make some conclusions based on what we just saw, but save all of these pieces because in just a little bit, we're going to come back and do another experiment using these same components. In experiment 2.1, you dropped a lot of items. First, when you dropped the book and the cardboard, the book should have hit the ground first. In the next step, you dropped the cardboard and the heavy paper. You should have seen the cardboard hit the ground before the paper. And finally, when you dropped the heavy paper and the regular paper, you should have seen the heavy paper beat the regular paper to the ground. Well, after those 3 observations, you might come to the conclusion that heavier objects fall faster than lighter ones. After all, each of the 3 drops resulted in the heavier object hitting the ground first. So, can you say that you proved that heavy objects fall faster than lighter ones? Well, it seems to be the correct conclusion from this experiment, but before jumping to any final statements, you need to do experiment 2.2 now. Module 2, Scientific Inquiry and the Scientific Method. Experiment 2.2, More about how weight affects the speed at which objects fall. In this experiment, we're going to learn more about the speed at which light and heavy objects fall. So I'm going to be dropping some more stuff, and then we'll be talking about it. So I have a heavy book, and this time I have a paper clip, and I'm going to drop them at the same time, and we'll see which one lands first. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, they land exactly the same. And in fact, there might be a slight difference in which they land, especially in the slow motion, but I don't actually let them go at the same split second because I'm not perfect in my letting go, but approximately, for our purposes, they hit the ground at the same time. So we're going to do another drop, this time with a paper clip and our sheet of cardboard. Again, I'm going to let them go at the same time. 1, 2, 3. The paper clip beat the cardboard. Okay, let's try the same thing again with the heavy paper and the paper clip. 1, 2, 3. Paperclip wins. All right, one more time with the paperclip, and this time with the sheet of paper. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, by a long shot, paperclip wins. Now when you do this at home, make sure you're noting what you're dropping and which one lands first. Okay, we're now going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to take the sheet of paper, I'm going to wad it up into a tight ball. Same amount of paper, just a different shape. And I'm going to drop it at the same time with the heavy book. And we'll see if one lands before the other one. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Again, they land at the same time. Let's try it again. This time with the wad of paper and the piece of cardboard. 1, 2, 3. Wad of paper wins. Okay, and finally, wad of paper and the heavy paper. And let's see which lands first. 1, 2, 3. Wad of paper wins again. Okay, we did a lot of dropping and saw a lot of which ones won versus the other ones. I'm going to explain why what happened in the next section.
In experiment 2.2, you should have gathered some interesting results. When you dropped the book and the paperclip together, you might have seen them hit the ground at practically the same time. Did that surprise you? After all, the paperclip is much lighter than the book. But then you dropped the paperclip with the cardboard, heavy paper, and regular paper. In those 3 trials, you might have seen the paperclip hit the ground first. Lastly, you dropped objects along with the regular paper, but this time the paper was wadded up into a small ball. What happened? Well, this same paper that probably hit the ground last in previous trials was the first one to hit the ground, except maybe when it fell along with the book, probably falling close to the same time as the book did. How can we explain all the things we saw? Well, first, this new data from experiment 2.2 helps us to understand that our probable conclusion from experiment 2.1 was incorrect. Heavier objects do not always fall faster than lighter ones. The paperclip weighs much less than the book, and it fell to the ground at the same time as the book. The wadded paper weighs less than the cardboard, but it hit the ground before the cardboard did. So what's going on? Well, from the wadded paper drops, we can say that the shape of an object can affect how it falls. When it was a flat sheet, the regular paper fell much slower than when it was wadded up, right? We'll talk more about this in the next section.